morning and welcome to Hello Westchester here on WCHE every Monday from 11:30 to noon. I'm Eric Climbera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester, which releases every Friday. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. Good morning, Kara. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing good, despite the gloomy conditions outside.
Not a great day.
Powering through there. So a lot of things to talk about. As always, the first thing we'll discuss in today's show is the Gay Street closure improvements have begun.
Yes, yeah. It's kind of hard to think of spring outdoor dining season today, but it is coming. And with it will be the annual closure of Gay Street. Most people here are familiar, but it started in the pandemic as a way to kind of help the businesses, local downtown businesses, survive during those forced closures. So the street is closed from Darlington Avenue through to Matlack Street. And that closure starts on May 1st this year and will run in through the end of September. But although it's been going on for almost 6 years now, there hasn't really been a lot of physical improvements. It's been discussed a lot. It's gone back and forth. The borough has been awarded grants, but no actual work has really been done. Well, that is going to change because work is currently underway, at least the start of the work. It's prep work at this point. But the borough is going to be installing bollards, which are these 12-inch steel pipes. They're going to be installed at Matlack Street, Darlington Street, and High Street on both sides. This is kind of what we're calling phase one of this project. These bollards are on a track. And so this track will slide to the side of Gay Street and then across Gay Street for the closure. It's pretty easy to do for what we've seen in demonstration videos. It slides pretty easily. So for Public Works on Friday mornings when they go to shut down the street, it should be super simple. Once the system is installed, they just need to slide it across, and then you lock it in place so that nobody can move it. But the big deal about the bollards is not only just the ease of closure and the fact that there should be a lot more attractive than those painted cement barriers we've been using for the last 5 years, but really it's a safety concern. So these bollards are crash test rated. I believe it's like a dump truck can drive 50 miles an hour and still can't go through them. So it is a big safety upgrade. It is something that the Westchester Police Department has been asking for a while now. Last summer when we discussed funding for this project, Westchester Police Josh Lee was in attendance. And he told Borough Council that it has always been his concern that there was a vulnerability up there, referring to Gay Street, that having just those barriers was really inviting bad things to happen. So this will put an end to that. It will also make it a lot easier for emergency vehicles to access the area if they need to, again, because the bollards can just be unlocked and then slid to the side.
So a lot of different improvements there. And then how long is this expected to take? Yeah,
it's going to take a while. So currently they are working on prepping the street, removing curbs, testing the conditions of the road where the installation will go. But the actual pieces themselves have not arrived yet from overseas. They're being shipped from a UK company. I think they were hoping they'd be here by now so they could actually start installations. Current timelines is estimating completion at the end of August. However, with these delays, I suspect that could be pushed out even further. So we'll see. What I do know is that the construction is going to happen during the week. It will be ongoing. They're going to start at Darlington, which they've already kind of begun with, and they're going to move their way east to High Street and then Matlack. Do expect lane closures, especially once they get to the area of High Street. Lane closures and road closures. I think when they get to High Street, they're anticipating having to close the road during construction. Construction is not going to occur on weekends, so it shouldn't impact the street closure, ironically. However, it may lead to intermittent street closures during the week. So just keep that in mind if you're coming or planning to come down to Westchester during the week this summer, or really from now until the end of the summer. Likely will be some additional work going on there.
So important to know and to plan accordingly. And anything else for our listeners to know about that?
Yeah, actually, one other thing that we did learn about this project is that while it's being done, the borough has also noticed that there were some sidewalk or crosswalk installations that were done poorly by a previous contractor, particularly in the area of High and Gay Street. So whatever sub base they had installed previously, they didn't do it properly. So now the bricks are sliding and they're not steady. So the borough is going to take care of that while they're out doing this other project. They're definitely doing the High Street sides. They may also end up doing other crosswalks if it's been determined that they too have been compromised due to poor construction previously. And they're going to do it differently than they did in the past. Instead of using bricks, which is what's currently being used, they're going to be doing it with a stamped asphalt that looks like red bricks. This is similar to how the crosswalk is at the courthouse, if you're familiar with that area. So they're going to look to improve those as well. So hopefully, while it will be another summer of construction on Gay Street, hopefully when this is all done at the end of the year, we will have a nice street in which to close each year and just, overall improved.
So glad to see they're taking steps on that. And sticking with Gay Street, our second story here, Biscuit Lady coming to Westchester.
Yes, a lot of buzz about the Biscuit Lady. So the Biscuit Lady is Tara Torrance. This is going to be her second storefront. So she already has a location out in Plymouth Meeting. And now she's opening on Gay Street. So this is going to be, her new address is 39 West Gay Street. Those familiar with the borough, this is where Maze was before they closed. And she's opening this new location on Tuesday. And it's funny, we go through a lot of restaurant openings in Westchester, so it's kind of hard to make them all special all the time. But I was really interested in this because she has 46,000 followers on Instagram. So she has quite a following here for her biscuits. And she only has the one location right now in Plymouth Meeting. So she's not a chain. She's just a one-man shop at the moment, one-woman shop. So I went out last week, did a little road trip on a rainy Thursday, decided I'd drive out to Plymouth Meeting and get myself some biscuits and to see what this hype was about. And it was a fun shop. It seemed like very nice atmosphere. And it was a little bit taken aback. So if you're going, there's a little bit of, there's options. So really there's like two ways to go, whether you want a biscuit sandwich, egg, bacon, cheese on a homemade biscuit, variety of different varieties, but that's kind of like the format. Or you could buy the biscuits individually, and they're almost donut-esque in their preparations and flavors, and they have a rotating selection of what you can of varieties, and you pick and choose. Those come in either singles, 4-packs, or 8-packs, I believe. I went with a 4-pack of the biscuits, decided I'd just try them out. And I'm not a huge biscuit fan myself. I tend to find biscuits a little on the dry side. I know it's really just the way they're made, but to me it tastes a little dry. But I have to say I thought they were really good. I was pleasantly surprised. I really liked some of these more extra biscuits. I think I had a lemon blueberry, which I really enjoyed, as well as the brown butter and honey.
I'm sure I'll be there not too far after it opens.
Yeah,
it's supposed to open, you said, tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's going to open tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, you few doors down. You'll have to get over there and try them out.
Close here for lunch or when I come in the morning. Now, just looking at the downtown Westchester site, which promotes it says rotating menu over 15 different varieties. They have 9 different breakfast and lunch sandwiches, as well as espresso, cold brew, so a lot of different options all across the board.
Yes, that was an extensive coffee bar as well. I just did not try the coffee because I brought mine with me. But, a lot of options. Like I said, coming with a game plan because I was a little taken aback. I was like, oh, what do I order now that I'm here?
Right, and so some good reviews there, and it'll be coming to Westchester, 39 West Gay Street, and so look out for that in the borough. And then one more thing we'll get to here before our first break. Several Westchester parks looking to make upgrades this spring.
Yeah, so it's not just Gay Street that's going to get a facelift. There's several Westchester parks that are going to have some planned improvements. So one of the first ones we'll talk about is Horace Pippin Park. This is over on West Market Street. It is getting a new playground. That project is currently about 90% complete. So the old playground equipment has been removed. A new playground has been installed. This has like 2 slides and some monkey bars, some climbing options. It is not quite finished. It is still missing its fall zone material that will go underneath it, as well as the border around it. But those final pieces should be completed soon, just as soon as the weather and public works schedules permit.
And the weather, as we've seen today, have been very unpredictable.
It really has been, yeah. As soon as you think it's going to be done, this comes through.
Right.
And then so another park that's looking at a big year is Hoops Park. They're also getting a playground makeover, but this is on a much larger scale than that one. They're working with a playground designer and an engineer. I think they've already discussed some concepts. The goal here is to inclusive play. So they really want this playground to be accessible to all children. And this goes beyond your standard ADA requirements, but also to be a place where those with visual or hearing disabilities can find a place to play and enjoy, and those also with some sensory sensitivity. So there's going to be a lot of different options for those types of play. And so right now, I think they have the plan. They're trying to figure out where to lay out the playground. And I get the understanding it's going to be a wider footprint than what is currently there now. So they're trying to find the best place to get that all in with a place that will take down the fewest number of trees.
And then I know that they also had some renovations I read from the Doe Local before with their pickleball and tennis courts.
Yes.
So they've had a lot going on.
So those were done last summer, yeah, and those were completed last year. It looks great. Yeah, we've been out and played there a few times now. It's a big improvement. So yeah, some nice upgrades going on at Hoops Park, the tennis or the racket center, which is what they're calling that, and now we've got the new playground. So So big things for Hoops Parks, especially if you live in that area.
And then there were 2 others as well, John O'Green.
Yes, speaking of parks that need updates, this is like a perennial list. This poor Splash Park, John O'Green Park, is the house's Westchester's only splash park. Very popular for that reason. Unfortunately, the whole thing has been bad from the beginning. Whatever design was recommended just didn't work very well, and they have been on a constant annual repair schedule, it seems. So they are now ready to redo this once and for all and replace the current splash pad with a new design, new take on it. However, while those plans are moving forward, they have hit a few snags recently, the latest being the fasteners for the new structure need to be drilled into the ground at a depth that requires notification of the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. This is a former greenfield site, and while the top has been cleaned up, if you disturb the dirt beyond a certain depth, they have to get involved to check that off. So they have been notified, or they will be notified. It is unfortunately likely going to be a bit of a delay. Anytime you have to get outside agencies involved, it tends to do that. But Westchester Parks and Recs is still hopeful that they'll have the new splash pad installed and operational by this summer. So hopefully. So
fingers crossed on that. Long time coming, as you mentioned. And then finally, Oakbourne.
Yes. So this one outside of Westchester Borough, but over in Westtown, Oakbourne Park had some pretty big improvements taken last summer, so the end of last summer, but they did expand and pave the parking lot adjacent to the pavilion over there. They also added new handicapped handicap accessible parking spaces. They improved the lot lighting overall and installed a lighted walking path between the pavilion lot and the mansion. So some improvements done over there as well. So if you're heading out for the spring, which I know spring sports are going to be starting up soon. I know we've always spent a lot of time in Oakbourne during that time of year. So if you're going to be heading over there, know there's some new parking options.
Yeah, and so a lot of different upgrades coming this spring. As Kara mentioned, Horace Pippin, Hoops Park, John O'Green Park, and Oakbourne Park in Westtown Township. And that takes us to 11:45, the middle of the show. We are going to take a break. We'll have some quick updates and look ahead to some upcoming events on the other side. Stay with us. Westchester here on WCHE. I'm Eric Lambera, joined by Kara Cordoni, publisher of Hello Westchester. You can subscribe at hellowestchesterpa.com. So picking up where we left off, we had a few quick updates to get to, the first being 2 former Westchester residents remembered.
Yeah, so last weekend, a weekend ago, this previous weekend, was a rough weekend for Chester County. There was 2 senseless deaths, 2 innocent lives taken, and both of those people had Westchester connections, so we took a moment to recognize them. The first being Pennsylvania State Police Trooper Corporal Timothy O'Connor, Jr. He was shot and killed during a traffic stop in West Colne Township. Westchester Police Chief Joshua Lee spoke about the incident last week at the monthly public safety meeting, stating that for the first time in any of our lifetimes, a Chester County police officer was murdered in the line of duty, shot and killed. This state trooper is also a volunteer with the Westchester Fire Department, a graduate of Henderson High School, a husband and a father. He was also recognized by Kildare's. He served as a chef there cook there early on. He was the cool counselor, as he was described, at the Chester County Camp Cadet. And then Westchester Fire Department also put out a statement saying that Tim exemplified what it meant to be a selfless public servant. His dedication to helping others and his unwavering commitment to public safety were evident to all who had the privilege of knowing and serving alongside him. Corporal O'Connor is survived by his wife and daughter. There is a public viewing scheduled for this week. It's going to take place on Tuesday from 4:30 to 8 p.m. At St. Joseph Parish in Downingtown, and then a private funeral service will follow on Wednesday. I do know that there have been some traffic restrictions put out around these events. The body will be traveling from Westchester over to Downingtown. So if you're in the area.
I think a great way to pay tribute. There have been several cool tributes. There was one we posted last week where there was a cop car that had all different flowers and just a really nice memorial. So the community response has been great.
Yeah. And then the other victim last week, her name was Megan Carl Nieberle. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce that. But anyway, she was shot in an unrelated incident. And Megan was a wife and a mother of 3. She grew up in Westchester as part of a large blended family. She was a graduate of Henderson High School. And she later earned her Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Immaculata University, where she has since worked at CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, for the last 27 years. She's going to have services as well. Those will be held on Sunday, March 29th at the Desmond Hotel. The visitation begins at 1 p.m. With a memorial service planned for 3 p.m.
So 2 very tragic losses, as you mentioned, over the course of last week and hitting local here in the Westchester area. So keeping their families in our prayers. Going next to our next story, a car thief was caught.
Yeah, so in a bit of better news on the police front, an individual wanted in connection with a spree of vehicle thefts that took place in the borough over the last 12 to 18 months is now in custody. Chief Lee addressed this last week as well. saying that they have identified the suspect and the suspect was arrested in another municipality. That's all the information we have right now, but a full report is expected next month. So thankfully, the individual is off the streets, and hopefully the cars will stay where they were intended to.
Some good news. I know that not even in Westchester that seems to be an issue with car thefts.
Yeah, and actually a good reminder, too, for people. A lot of the cars and vehicles that were stolen did have their keys inside of them. So take the keys with you. Don't leave the car running, even if it is for a quick, jump in to get coffee or something.
Right. I say mine's on the street, not in our driveway. So I always make sure, even if I lock it when I'm there, just make sure when I'm in the house, make sure I hear a click or something. Got to take as many precautions as you can. Let's go next to the West Goshen Planning Commission getting an unexpected change-up.
Yeah, so last week, West Goshen Planning Commission had their annual monthly meeting. And at the meeting, there was a series of unexpected events. At the end, Planning Commission Chairman R. Douglas Stewart announced that he was resigning from the board. Following his announcement, he made a motion to nominate Planning Commission Secretary Corey Wiggerbauer to serve as the new chairman. That nomination was seconded and approved unanimously. And then moments later, Township Manager Chris Bashore recommended that Planning Commission senior alternate Andrew Husband be promoted to a regular voting member, filling that spot left by Stewart's resignation. That nomination was also quickly seconded and approved. However, these are not official yet. I think the chairmanship is official, but the nomination of Andrew to the board still needs to get township Board of Supervisors approval, so that will be discussed at tomorrow's meeting. So if you have interest or concerns about these appointments, maybe attend that meeting and voice those. Otherwise, they'll probably get approved.
Right, so some shakeup in the West Goshen Planning Commission, and moving next to job fair at the Westchester Community Center.
Yes, so PA Career Link of Chester County holds a monthly in-person job fair. Usually these take place in Exton, but this week they're setting up at the Westchester Community Center. In December, there were 10,000 unemployed job seekers in Chester County with 11,600 active job postings online. So there is opportunity out there, but as is often the case, these opportunities don't always align with people's interests or abilities. Healthcare practitioners and technical occupations have the most openings and amongst the fewest number of unemployed workers. Computer and mathematical occupations are also in high demand. On the other side, there seems to be more candidates for jobs in management, transportation, and administrative support than available positions. So just keep in mind, but that is available. It's open tomorrow. No, the 19th, that's Thursday, from 2 to 4 p.m.
Yep, 2 to 4 at the Westchester Community Center, 501 East Minor Street. And I was looking at because there was an article about it, and it said some of the confirmed employers include Chester County Department of Human Services, Starbucks, Department of Corrections, Giant Company, Chester County Intermediate Unit, and several others as well. But
yes,
a lot of different employers on hand. And moving over to Westchester University professors debuting a new documentary.
Yeah, so I got a chance to see this documentary last week. It's The Hands That Helped Shape America. I believe that was what it was called. And the idea, the concept was there's a daycare in Coatesville, the Gordon Early Learning Center, and they gave all the teachers $500 extra a month. This is post-tax, so it's $500 for them. And they followed the teachers over a 18-month period to see what happened. It was a very eye-opening film. Many of these teachers are only making around $17 an hour. I think in Pennsylvania, the average daycare worker makes $29,500 a year. Very small. And so having this extra funds each month was really impactful for the teachers, and they kind of shared their experiences, how they used the money. One used it to improve her savings. One used it to get a better upgrade their living conditions, her and her husband and their 7 kids. So that was important. And then another one used it to begin looking at purchasing our first home. So it was very impactful. And the film follows kind of this whole thing. It's 20 minutes long, just shows you what could happen with such a small change. And then what happens should things revert. So it was very eye-opening. I would recommend you check it out if you're able to. There is one screening left. Unfortunately, that one is in Philadelphia, but if there's enough interest, maybe they'll show it again. That one is on March 23rd at 4 p.m. If you are interested in going out to Philadelphia, you can do that. And one kind of fun fact from the film, $6.6 billion, that is the amount that is lost with worker productivity in Pennsylvania each year due to inadequate child care solutions. So when we look at that big number and such a small one that it would take to kind of really help move this situation along, it's kind of hard to believe we can't yet find solutions for this. So
definitely eye-opening for sure. And that was, by the way, the Hands to Shape Tomorrow.
Thank you.
So the impact of the income initiative on early childhood educators in Coatesville. So the Hands to Shape Tomorrow. You mentioned one more screening at this time. And let's go next to Westchester baseball, off to a strong start.
Yeah, so let's play ball. It may not seem like it, but the baseball season is well underway. A lot of this has been played away. The Golden Rams were out in Maryland and Virginia, I believe. But so they've had multiple series outside of home, and they're off to a 9-2 start. They have a national ranking with that. And last week, they beat Division I St. Joe's 14-10 at home. No, they were not at home. They were away. But I think at St. Joe's home. Sorry, yes, not St. They weren't at Westchester University. They were at St. Joe's. But they were led by Caleb Strawhecker, who's the catcher. He went 4 for 5 from the plate with 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. And that was the first time they beat a Division I foe since 2008. And then they faced Gannon this weekend, their first at-home series, and they swept them. So good start to the year for Westchester.
Playing very well so far. So I know they've typically been pretty good, but just the way they've started off this year has been pretty impressive as well. And then I know we're closing in a second here, but I know we also had a few things to look ahead to as well.
Yeah, so, well, tomorrow, if you haven't already celebrated, is St. Patrick's Day. Of course, a lot of going on here. Kildare's, Ryan's, Cutter, and Cannon all have events. And then, let's see, one more. This weekend, let's see, there's photos with the Easter Bunny at Barnaby's. That's taking place on March 22nd from 12 to 2 p.m. Looking forward to those photos. Early time to do that.
And Easter coming up very quickly.
I know, it's going to be here soon.
So there's going to be more events along that note, I'm sure, as well. But that does take us up to 12 o'clock. Thank you, Kara, as always. And thank you, listeners, for checking out the show. You can check out the podcast at 953wche.com, and we'll talk to you next time.